Hello, happy Wednesday everyone, and welcome to beautiful, sunny San Diego, California. What a day. So today we're going to investigate a story. Basically, Google, Uber, Lyft, Ford, and a couple other companies have joined together to form the Self-Driving Safety Coalition. Now what that means is those companies are going to join forces to try to push through as many laws as possible to get self-driving cars on the roads as fast as possible. In particular, that could have a huge impact on the ride-sharing industry like Uber and Lyft. So I wanted to ask some people if they would take a ride if there was no driver.
I would ride in a driverless Uber if more cars on the street were automated and also there were safety measures implemented on the streets.
Yeah, the only way I feel safe in driverless cars is if basically every car is driverless. User error is the real problem.
I would go in a driverless car because in Total Recall it was good for Arnold Schwarzenegger, so it'll be good for BSP.
Yes, definitely. After looking on YouTube, I think it's in for winners. Safe for the drivers.
Not at all. So you can never take that human element away. You always need somebody behind the wheel.
Self-driving cars are the future. I would invest in that, and I would drive them.
Perfect.
I don't know how it would be safe. I don't know how you could take the element of surprise, of a sharp turn or something. I wouldn't feel safe.
Yes, I think it would be safe. Technology is so advanced now that it would be perfectly fine to be driverless cars all the time.
I don't think I'd want to ride in a car without a driver because you never know where it's going to go or you have no control of it. It's already scary riding in the back seat.
What do you think?
If it's proven safe enough, why not? I'd get in.
What about you, buddy? You gonna get in? Put your head out the window?
Okay, so I would do it, but it would take away jobs from people that are driving Uber.
Now we got our coffee, it's time to go to work. But instead of driving today, I'm going to take a Lyft to work and ask the driver how he feels about all this. Alright, so we just requested a Lyft ride from Salim, who's about to roll up with a sweet Lexus in like a minute or two. Sweet! Just waiting for Salim. I got my lunchbox packed, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh, Salim!
If you get a driverless car, I'm out of a job. I'm going to be able to trust something that's going to drive me around where I have no control over it. Mm-hmm. It's just like saying, well, let's get on a plane that flies. First of all, a lot of the people that are doing this are people that have been displaced to begin with.
Yeah.
Because of what?
Everything has a cause and effect. You're talking about taxi drivers, right?
Well, I'm talking about everything. People say technology is great, everything is great. It's good, and in other instances, take for example what happened to the cab industry.
Yep.
How much money those people lost. Now what do those people do? So
for everything, we got to do the fist pound. Boom, boom. There we go. Thanks a lot for taking me to work. So now we're at One American News, where I work as a news producer, and we're going to see how they cover the whole Google, Uber, Lyft, driverless merger thing that's going on. One America's Ash Cargaran, our reporter-writer, he's going to be working on the Google, Uber, Lyft driverless car story today. We'll see what he has to say as he keeps working on the project.
What we're going to do is we're going to add a soundbite into the package from one of the researchers who is in favor of driverless cars on the road. Of course, being in the news industry, you want to show both sides of the story, so we're also going to add a soundbite from someone who doesn't want driverless cars on the road. Doing some research, I found that one side believes that human error is causing crashes, so they want to replace that with computers. On the other hand, you have those who feel like you always need a human in the car as an emergency in case an accident is bound to happen.
So Ash, what are we doing next?
Now we are entering the sound booth to track our story. A car with an empty driver's seat. That's because companies like Google, Ford, and Uber are teaming up to expedite the process of putting driverless cars on the road. Now that I've recorded the audio portion of the story, we're going to send it over to our editors to handle the visual aspect.
So now we're headed over to Adam, the editor, who's been working on the visual part of the project. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, once the writers come up with a story, they'll do a little bit of research on it and add their own spin on how they take the story. They record it, send it over to me.
Once I get their audio track, I stitch it together
and I find the best footage to tell the story. Now we're almost ready for TV.
These, along with Volvo and Lyft, are joining forces as part of the Self-Driving Coalition for Safer Streets. The initiative is aimed to work with law.
So now our package is ready for national TV. We got to be quiet because we're headed into the studio. Headed into the control room.
We'll have more on our active afternoon. Plus, ever dream of riding in a car on autopilot? Thanks to some of America's biggest...
I can't have my hands on the steering wheel, or I see a human being with their hands on the steering wheel. I do not trust where that car is going.
So you're saying no.
I'm off. No way.
We're live.
On the roads.
Look at us, we're live on TV. Mike's ready. So this is Koshal's Hour of One American News, and she'll read our story too. Let's take a look at how she does.
Here we go back into the studio to hear Koshal read our Google self-driverless car story.
Wait for the Google driverless car to come out. I will be the first one to sign up and do a test drive in it. It's been driving for what? They've test driven it 1 million miles. So all the things you can do while you're in the car. You can, read a book, talk on the phone, really not having to pay attention to the road. Endless possibilities. And Lyft are uniting to push legislation that would speed up the process. One America's Ash Carteron has more on an issue that's sure to pick up speed as the debate rages.
There were more than 32,000 fatalities and more than 2 million injuries from over 6 million crashes on U.S. roads. And according to the National Highway Traffic...
I am out of time here. We will have Mike Deneau next with more headlines. Don't go anywhere. If you want more information on our network, you can always go to OANN.
Okay, well, work's over. We took a lift here with our buddy Salim, so let's take an Uber home and see if that driver has any different opinion. Here comes Samuel, our Uber driver.
I don't think so. I think they can get you there in the right direction, but I think they just like that human response. It would impact me greatly because I was thinking of quitting my job. Yeah, if that happens, I guess I shouldn't quit my job.
All right, we're home. We're going to press the pause button on our story for the night, but tomorrow morning we'll get up early and talk to a couple other people whose industries might be impacted. Good morning, everybody. We're back at it again on Snapchat with our story about driverless cars. All right, so yesterday we talked with some future passengers, some Uber and Lyft drivers, and some journalists about the impact driverless cars would have. What I want to do this morning is talk to some auto mechanics and some car dealers about the impact driverless cars would have on their businesses. Let's do that. All right, we're here at Smitty's. Let's see if anyone inside can help us answer some of our questions. Repair.
It's going to reduce expenses because people typically are the reason that cars have issues.
So Mike told us he thought there would be less problems for car owners, but he didn't think business would go down. He'd just have to change some of his expertise. Now let's go to a dealership. All right, we're here now at Toyota of San Diego. Now remember, Toyota is not one of the companies that partnered with Google, Uber, and Lyft. That's just Ford and Volvo.
The sales for a driverless car will probably be a little slow because people aren't too confident with the idea of letting something else take the wheel. Just like the Prius when it first came out, people weren't too confident with it, but now it's the best-selling car in Southern California. Woo, it was San Diego.
Awesome. So Alex had a lot of good ideas. He thought sales of driverless cars would be like the Prius, difficult at first while people got adjusted, but then skyrocket. Okay, now we're at Kearney Pearson Ford. I feel like it's important to talk to someone at Ford because they are one of the companies that joined with Google and Uber for self-driving.
In combination with the electric car, which is what I do, and just the autonomous car, is a perfect fit.
So Bill told me that Ford is going to spend $4.5 billion by 2020 to combine the electric and driverless cars. Pretty cool. All right, guys, I think this story, just like this car that I still have to drive, it's time to put it away. I hope you learned a lot. I definitely did. And one last thing, remember, if you're passionate about this issue, you should contact your congressman or your local senator, because those guys work for you and they're the ones voting on this issue.